Hello and welcome to Non-Ordinary Living, where we are on a mission to help 100 million people to feel good about themselves and live a meaningful life. Now that might sound like a unachievable goal, but we don't think so. And we're here to prove to you that it is possible.
Mhm.
What we're going to start with today, my name is Darren Bennick, and we have Jason Ortiz on the other side of the world, coming to you from New York and Tasmania. And today we're going to explore the idea of the number one philosophy in non-ordinary living, and that is to feel good first. Now that might seem like an unachievable goal, that you can feel good no matter what, but if you understand energy, you will, and not just understand it, but experience it. And we do have a way that you can experience it, and that's over at Non-Ordinary Living. And you can get a direct experience of what we're talking about. But today, we are going to explore how to feel good even when you have every reason not to feel good. So, Jason,
Mhm.
can you relate?
Oh, absolutely, entirely. Hello, world. Thank you for being here. And I love these types of discussions. I am a very vulnerable human being. My buddy here can vouch for that. And with this whole thing that I'm assisting my buddy with putting out there, and that is certainly a very realistic goal. That's what we want to help 100 million people. I want to share what I can and really paint a picture because certainly I think for anybody that's, especially if they're on the hunt for something to help them feel better about their life, whether it's, in the moment, something that's currently going on, or it's been ongoing, or it's just been a lifelong thing. I want to do my best to convey that message that yes, this is very real. Yes, this is very helpful, and want to build trust. I want to have our viewers and listeners find comfort in what we have to share because we're certainly going to be talking about real life examples and experiences. My buddy here's got 30 years been putting this thing together, developing this thing, and he's got a wonderful history and stories that he shared. Well, anyway, mine. Let me share with you where I'm at. Let's just say in 2020 is probably when the deepest impact started. I became very ill. Of course, this was during the time about COVID when it struck, very beginning of the year, January, as a matter of fact, if I recall. And I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, and it wasn't just pockets. We're talking about one abscess and another one that had exploded. And let's just say it turned into a slew of other health issues after my surgeries and stuff. And think about it. This is during the pandemic, so there's so much loss, so much tremendous loss. And flash forward, last major event was when I was diagnosed with neuropathy late last year and early in the beginning of the year. That started that journey, working with doctors. And let's face it, anything medical, your health, it can cause so much turmoil, so much loss and trauma through it all. The list can go on. Well, my friend here, we didn't know each other, as I mentioned here on a previous recording. And he presented this to me.
When I met you, it was hard enough to get you on the phone.
Yes, absolutely. I was so reclusive.
Looking at me like I was a freaking weirdo.
You're the one that said it. You said it, bro. I'm like, I got none. I plead the fifth, damn it. So this weirdo.
He comes to feel good. Your eyes are like, piss off.
Right. Sounds a little funky, brother. Am I paying for this too?
Yeah.
You're not getting my debit card number. I was just playing. It kind of did go that way, but Well, looking back, it is hilarious, but with an open mind because I saw how genuine you were, brother. With your patience and my open mind and steps taken in this process. I can tell you guys, like, yes, feel good first can be a very real thing. I my
just
list of
on that, just quickly. So when we first started getting into this, there was obviously kind of a time lag in between where you were and being able to feel good. Has that shifted? Are you able to just drop into it at will now?
oh,
Good state.
like how long does it take to achieve? Right? If
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
you're talking about, oh yeah, I mean, so example given. I think I mentioned this to you. So something personal struck, and it's something is drama, and the kind and with a particular human being that strikes all kinds of unwanted ugly chords inside me. And I'm driving down the road to go visit my mom, and I was let's just say I was rolling with some really foul negative emotions. Well, once I became aware of it, I was just I don't want to be in that state ever. That's a commitment to me. It's just like I'm going to do everything that I can to fight my way out of adverse feelings and dealing with adversities and stuff within and like things that can be presented and developed. No word of a lie. As soon as I became aware and it just struck like I don't want this. Very immediate. It was like a light switch, and I could literally feel the energy change inside and just start to dwindle and phase into something more neutral. And everyone's going to hear that with us so much. And getting into that neutral state got me in a position to then put my mind in a state of happiness. How? I'm on my way to my mom's house. I don't have room for negative or anything foul on the way over there. I want to be my best and to be able to shut it off like a light switch and then switch into something positive. So neutral became receptive, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm on my way up from this down state. And when I visited my mom, it was like it never even happened. So yeah, it's it was something that, of course, like anything, it required it's like a muscle you have to exercise. And where I am right now, I'm very happy to say that it's much more quicker to get into that neutral state. It's a blessing.
And people often think that change has to take like a long time, but I've almost found the opposite. So change can happen in an instant. You can change
Yeah.
your mind that quickly. Oftentimes it's the lead up that takes the time, and then the aftermath that we have trouble with. But what we're actually talking about here is an actual process that you can follow, and it's not something made up. It's basically simulating the process of change. I've just figured out a way how to slow that process down and map each of the bits. Now, you might think, oh, well, why should I take your word for it? If you go to nonordinaryliving.com, I go through a simulated release. So whatever state that you're in, you can very quickly change it. Very quickly. You just have to understand how energy behaves and how your awareness interacts with that. So, and I'm not kidding, this is a 30-second exercise that will shift your state. I've simulated that state of release. And then there is another 3-minute demonstration where I walk you through the actual process that I use for everything. I don't hold anything back. You can take that process and you can use that for the rest of your life for free. It's all there. I'm not holding anything back. Even when we talk about the neutral state, there's an actual process. You can map it. And this is why we're going to say it over and over and over again, is the more awareness you can bring to your daily situations, to the moment-to-moment reality, the more you are going to understand, the more connections that you're going to make within yourself, and the easier these things can become. So it's not pie in the sky stuff. It's not, you know, sitting there hoping that something's going to change. It's actually becoming aware of your own processes.
Yes.
Now, again, just a very quick story. So I was hoping, so I have a whole system behind this. It's very, very, very simple. It's only in 3 phases. It's taken me 30 years for it to become simple, but it's very simple. But I wanted to launch this 5 years ago. And then just as I was about to launch, my family situation imploded. And I broke up we had a long-term relationship that broke up. And I was in a very dark place. And I was like, oh my God, I had nothing. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, to be honest, I didn't want to live. That was one of the thoughts. And we all have them, whether we are ever going to act on them. But the only thing that got me through, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I just got to apply my own material. And I did, and it pulled me out. We sold the house, so I had a good sum of money, and I was like, right, now I can launch. Again, all these things came up in my life, and I had to deal with every single one of them, and that money dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and I was like, shit, like I've got to launch now, otherwise I'm in trouble. So each time I had these thoughts and the doubt and all of this came through, I just used my own material. I just tuned in, I figured out the pattern of the problem, and I just used awareness to outcreate it. As this is happening, my bank balance is going down and down and down. It got pretty low, and I was like, right, I got to get a job. And I didn't want to launch when things were going well, because then people could say, oh, but you know, it's all right for you. It works, you know, you've got da-da-da-da. And I was like, right, and I've driven buses for quite a while, and I was like, right, I'll get a job for Metro, for public transport. If my material works there, it can work anywhere. And so I did that for 6 months, and it worked. It worked under pressure. It worked under load. Until I lost my job, and that smaller amount of money I had, basically, I'm launching now with nothing. So, and I have to apply my own material and my own understanding of energy and awareness to flip. And it's not fake it till you make it. It's not. There's a process, and if you just follow the process, and if you just take the very next step, that's all you need to focus on, is stabilizing your system, orienting yourself of where you are, because in the moment there's no problem. You just need to orient to that. Once you become clear and stable, the very next step presents itself. It just does. Jason, I'm sure you can attribute to that.
Oh God, yeah. So everyone knows, as my friend here is talking about loss, and I'm laughing here, it's because we're kind of riding the same wave. I got well, and what was it like? Just very recently, my health took another dive in its own way, and it's kind of doing drops and going up, so I'm kind of riding this weird roller coaster of health stuff. But I lost my job too, And luckily, there's family support and all this stuff. But from where I used to be to where I'm at now, from health to finances, extremely challenging. Look, it's like he said, we're human, and we're gonna go through down states, and there's 7 layers of hell, and I'll be honest with you, like I'm just recently, and my buddy here can vouch for that. I was probably second to last just recently, and those intrusive thoughts did come in, but I knew I didn't want them, and I knew that there was a way to get out of it, and I knew, I'm a person, and with multiple things, not just my health dropping all at the same time, several losses that took place. I knew that the impact was going to cause me to kind of sway or get distracted. But once I realized, hey, this DSA it's real. It got me through it before. I just need to really dig my heels into the sand and reapply. It really wound up. Its function is glorious to me. It really helped out. Now, was it a matter of, oh no, all of a sudden I'm elated and I'm, skipping around in joy, and no, it wasn't that. It's getting into a neutral state, because that will get me into the mode of prepare me to get into a mode of getting to that point. And still nothing has really changed with my situation. But even here today, I had someone that's an acquaintance, and she's a wonderful, joyful person. And as I explained to this person, hey, there's some things going on, a little self-esteem problem. They were like, it's one thing I got to give you, Jay, is, and that person's friends, she's like, I tell them this, that with everything going on in your life, you still manage to stay joyful. You still manage to keep your head up, at least passive, neutral, when others, and even my old self, would have likely dwindled and been in a far worse state.
Can we just have one quick thing there? You talked about keeping your head up. So let's show these people what we're talking about when we're talking about how to apply dynamic self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I noticed years and years and years ago when I was working in Sydney, the streets, people would be walking around with their eyes on the ground, and it stuck with me for many years. And then one day when I was driving the bus, I was driving along, and your eyes are on the horizon, and I just happened to look up a little bit, and I was in this very highly self-aware state, because I was practicing this material under load. As I looked up, my body awareness shifted as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like an amplification of feeling good. And I tested this, and then I told Jason about it. And so you can do this now. If you are just sitting there, wherever you are, and just let your gaze rest on the angle wherever it sits, and then just feel your body as you're doing this, and then just look up. Doesn't have to be too far. And as you look up, you'll feel a shift in your body. You'll feel a different state come into play. And that is, in a nutshell, mind-body awareness. If you go to the site, I have a couple of these, and also on my social media channels, I have a couple of these, and it's simulating a shift in state. And Jason will probably share a story with you as well of how he's implemented this. Just these little shifts in state of mind and body awareness of how we are perceiving things can make huge differences. And it can be the difference between you acting on something that's going to change your life or not acting on it. It comes down to that. So look, if you're feeling down you're not going to want to take any action, or it's going to be like an effort. But if you're already at neutral and something comes, and I do this all the time. It's how I've got here. I like something pops into my head, like reach out to Jason, complete stranger. I just do it because I'm already in that neutral, edging into potential state.
Mm-hmm. You know, something came to mind here just a moment ago. I think for me, being someone that's into graphics and art, like visualization is huge because I think that, the mind is, God, so powerful. Thoughts can turn, like it could make change in emotions, all this stuff. Like the mind is so powerful. And I just think that with sharing certain things like what I'm about to, it just will help other people really absorb it better, certain people. And I'm sorry, my fur buddy's just kicking my camera around. So, you ever been in one of those moments? I'm sure everyone's, can't even say ever been. We've all been in that moment that we're in one emotional state. We're in a moment in our life, right? And I'll give you an example. Maybe you're just hanging out, nothing really special going on. You're with your people. All of a sudden, somebody says something very funny. You're not expecting it. It was sudden, out of your control. All of a sudden, you go from this, passive state to instantly laughing. Also, let's just say you're feeling joy, and then somebody says something really derogatory. Instantly, typically, with us, we shift into that state that matches that energy, right? Now, we're talking about from one emotional state to the other, instantly. This right here, imagine it, for me in my mind, I just kind of picture it as being empowered, that moment. Imagine it being a doorway, right? A perception would be like, all right, I'm happy, open, and now I'm in this angry state of what just happened. But DSA provides you the ability to realize that it's two doors and there's a path in between, right? There's like lately these comic movies, like in Superman, there's a pocket universe in between these doors. Yeah. And you're able to navigate that space yourself. And now you have control to go in between these states because you become aware of that pocket universe and going through, like as you just mentioned ago, certain movement, that 2 degrees lean back, or if not, like I said in previous recording, and we'll be talking about like when I've like sessions that Darren has put me through where eyes are closed and we're looking at patterns. It's the journey right there from one to the other, being in control and knowing that if you're in one state and you want to be in this state, it's a desire. I don't like earlier I said, I really don't want to feel this negative energy that's coming from this dramatic thing. I'm empowered with knowing that there are actions that can be taken in order to control that energy. Yeah. That is such a massive tool. That awareness. When I became aware of that, I was like, what is going on? This is a thing? And it winds up being, I want to say addicting. Like it's like I want to toy with it more. And that's how it is. It's like, wow, I just did that. And I needed that in this moment. And it's a pursuit. Like I got to try more of that. And it becomes a desire. I think that's such a huge thing. Just that, that pocket universe thing, like that journey.
And I think that the thing you were just ending on there is comes back to developing a living practice, and so this doesn't become just something you do at certain times. This is a practice that, all you need to do is focus on the very next step. There's nothing you can do beyond that except for like right in here in the moment. And I think a lot of the times we're trying to take too big a step. We're trying to go from here out to this other point, whereas the point we're in is already charged. It's already, we can't take that path until we come back off this one, and we're trying to take too big a jump, and we're trying to think, but there's steps involved, and that's the way to access it. If you can't see it, then you just need to slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we can apply mind-body awareness to any problem. We can just, once you understand and if the pattern's going too quick, if you're moving through things too quick and you're not seeing what the very next step is, then all you need to do is slow things down, allow your system to settle, and this is going to be experiential. It's not really going to make sense until you experience this notion of being, when you come back into the neutral state, how the very next step presents itself. Because your system wants to succeed. And by succeed, I don't mean achieving anything. Success, the derivation of success means to keep going. It is literally one step after the other. If you're not succeeding, then you're not really moving forward. But your system, your energetic system wants to keep going. It doesn't want to die. It wants to keep going. So all we need to do is get out of the way. Clear whatever's going on. Clear all the muck and the distortion. And again, you can't just, it's like, here's one. I tried to, many years ago, I was kind of on the spiritual path and I thought that you had to stop thinking. I thought that thinking was bad. And so I tried to stop thinking. And I failed dismally.
Yes, and I'm familiar.
I dropped my spiritual quest.
It's like, what the hell is even that, dude? I gotta stop thinking.
I came back and was like, right, I'm ready. I'm going to give this a go. I'll give it another go.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, and I don't like to get too morbid, but it almost drove me batshit crazy. I'm not kidding. That's not a word of a lie. Like, it almost drove me nuts.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had these moments in my life where I've tried to do things and I've gone about it the wrong way based on no information or poor information. And then one day, I was playing around with my thoughts, and I was like, everything's too quick. Like, what happens if I just slow things down? And it changed the way I perceive things. And I was like, okay, so one little thing that we can apply, one type of awareness, is rhythm. And all of these little things that we just don't think about, we can apply as modes of awareness, and we have control over rhythm. We have control over how we interpret things. We have control over whether we decide to judge something or not. But it's instead of thinking of like these jumps, think in terms of the very next step. The very next step. The very next step. And most of the time that starts with actually coming backwards first. And I think this is one of the key elements of the work that we do, and is this idea of coming back first, winding it back to neutral, and starting from there, because things are a lot clearer when you're in that state.
Yeah. So funny, because I sit here and I think to myself, the word "feel," right? It's just people. We as a people, we don't pay attention about, like, whenever we're going through our feelings and our emotions, like, and then how they're connected, tethered to thoughts and everything, and we just go through it. I'm upset, I'm angry, and all of a sudden the feelings come involved. I'm feeling warm and I'm feeling angry, and there's starting to have this scowl look on my face, and no one really sits down and observes that process, those states, and everything. And this right here, with when I know I'll speak for myself. When it became apparent, like, hold on a second, like, I've never, that's never been a focus. I never thought to pay attention to that. And it's like being able to, it's like self observation, and for me, I was putting myself through those paces of like exploring, how does this evolve? Like, the states of what I'm going through when something drops, ultimately to how I've reacted or dealt with it, the ultimate outcome. The empowering feeling and the awareness, it's stunning and we can do this as a people. Going back to that thing that I was saying about, the instant switch. I mean, it's something that happens for us, Be angry, somebody makes a joke, all of a sudden you're laughing. Well, if we can do that in an instant, and that's naturally coming out of us, we ought to be able to explore what happens in that point, whatever, 0.0001, second of transition. Can we get into the middle of that and find a way to make that happen on the fly in our everyday life at any given time? I mean, we're switching emotions. Well, what caused that? Let's explore that. What were the states? And that's what I really love about this, is that it put me into that self-observation mode, and becoming self-aware of just the beginning to the end, like, how it develops. Like this event happened, and then all of a sudden I processed it, and started to produce feelings that produce thoughts, and then next thing you know, just kind of on that tail end, it just winds up doing a little bit of a grind. Okay, well, knowing that, going back to, all right, well, before we start getting into those emotions that can turn into thoughts and this turbulence, I felt something. I feel this energy. Okay, if this negative, if I feel that it's not a good energy, well, then in that moment, right, it's like I said, that angry person that heard a joke and made them laugh. Well, in that moment, I get to acknowledge that there's a moment of control of that energy. I can resist. Yeah. I love that. To pump the brakes and say, no, to push that back. I've never had that. And I guess what I'm trying to get at with that is, I think for anyone that winds up being aware of that, as I had, it's mind-blowing. It's like, really, this is a thing? I can do this? I could shut this off? Or I could be upset about something, and somebody's like, hey, we're going to go do this, and it's going to be fun. Party or an event or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I may be upset about something, but I can literally shut off that energy that's affecting me in a way that, I don't want, and then put it behind me, or set it down, or however we want to describe it, and move on to something that's great. It's anyway.
I think that, like, the best part of this work is that it literally, there's no beliefs involved. It's just a shift in awareness and what you become aware of.
Right.
So I'll just, and this is a big one with me, and it mightn't make sense at first to people, but I was exploring. Jason knows, like, I'm really into words. So, like, I have my dictionaries up the back there, and I love looking up the derivations of words, because where the word comes from, because it normally brings things back to not a name. It's like a description. It's actually really, the derivation often gives you an idea of the energy that the word's associated with. And there was two words that used to bug me when I first got into this work, and that was feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
and this idea that they were used interchangeably. That didn't make sense. And this is this is how these things start. It's like something just doesn't sit right.
Mm.
And I actually have another video. It's called the Energy Balls video, where you can
Yeah.
actually get in touch with the energy of things you like and dislike, and it becomes a navigation tool. So that when you tune into this thing of this energy around things that you don't like, you'll feel it in your body, and you're like, something's not right there. So I started to think about feelings and emotions. I was like, they're two different things. So
Yes.
how could they be two different things? Now, we're kind of lucky as human beings in that we can bring things down to like a binary. It's either this or that. And I was studying anatomy and physiology at the time. I was going to become a naturopath. And I was like, they're not the same. They're not the same. Like feelings are, and the way I looked at it, because I was sort of, how can I break this down really simply? It's like, well, there's inflow and outflow. I was like, okay, well, how can I map what I'm experiencing onto that model? And I was like, well, feelings are as energy coming in. Like I don't feel angry. That's an emotion. That's something I've generated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with the Energy Balls video, that it shows this, it puts this into practice, because you know when you think of something you do like, it generates a different feeling than when you think of something you don't like. And so I was like, all right, so why am I getting angry? It's like, okay, well, I'm not feeling angry. I'm actually feeling compressed, or I'm feeling, trapped, and that's generating and creating these thoughts, whether it's from the past and I'm reacting, or it's like, well, piss off, and I'm reacting, and I'm putting energy in motion, and that becomes my emotional state. And now I'm not trying to say this to sound clever. I'm like, okay, how can I use that?
Yes.
And so, okay, all I need to do is become aware of what I'm feeling, and if I can describe what that feeling is, I can understand it. I can understand the pattern.
Yeah.
And if I can understand the pattern, I can shift.
Hugely. Yeah.
And that was a game changer for me, because I was like, oh shit, I don't have to react.
Yes. That's the magic
It
word.
bother me.
Yes.
I can turn
You don't have
everything
to.
into energetic awareness, and just describe
Yeah.
the feeling of energy in my body. Oh, it's tight, and it's twisting, and it's all coming in on me. So like, if that's the path in, what's the path out? It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's that. It's untwisting. It's unwinding. And I
Yeah.
can simulate that. People think, oh, isn't that just fake it till you make it? No, because it's the very next step. If you're going in like this and you can feel that in your body, then the very next step going the other way is to, and you can feel that progression.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when you become aware of these things, and it's just noticing things, it is so empowering.
Yeah. God, yeah. I mean, everyone's heard that song, Let It Go, Let It Go. And everyone's like, how? I'm trying, damn it. Say it again. Right? Tell me
Tell me to come again.
Say it. Really, it's true. You have that maniacal moment, and it's just, I don't want to hear this shit again. I've been trying to let it go, and not just for the past 15 minutes, for 15 friggin' years I've been trying to let it go, or more.
Yeah, thanks.
But
for
it's just, so, but, it's just that ability to define that, the in that moment, the energy state, and you identify it, and once it's identified, you're able to as once you become familiar, you identify also what the counterbalance is, and what steps are needed to be taken. It's the acknowledgement, like you said, yeah, okay, so it's a twisting motion. Well, what's gonna, we know we need the opposite. What's gonna offer that release? And it's just you start to become familiar with your mind that affects your physiology, where it's just like, okay, this particular thing that I'm doing, what mentally or physically, whatever it may be, it's actually producing the opposite effect. And like you said, it's empowering, and it's so tangible. It's real. Like, it is tangible. It's real. You're feeling these things going on. Yeah, maybe not with your hands, but you're feeling it on the inside, and that is separate from emotions, because that's can become the thing there afterwards. Now that I'm feeling this, now, okay, what are my emotion? Well, now I feel happy about this. Now I feel relaxed about it because I'm feeling this thing going on the inside that has been relieved. There's been a form of release, and it's just amazing, because then at that point you realize you can let it go. And now when I hear that song, I'm like, hell yeah, I let that shit go all the time. And is it 100%? Does it, is it success rate? Is it always perfect? No, you know what I mean? Hey, we're still people, and things will drop pretty heavy, or if not, just there's certain levels to things. But the nice thing is that when you're aware of yourself and these processes that are going on internally, like what Darren was saying, and that's where the magic begins. That's when you're like, oh wow, I this is a choice, because I've heard that when I was younger. You can choose to be happy. You can choose. And I'm like, what do you mean? You pissed me off. You did X, Y, Z, the blame game. You know what I mean? This affected me. How dare you? But nowadays it's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I told you, brother, right? I don't drive with road rage anymore. That's huge. I was road rage central. Now I'm just like, whatever. I'm
So,
as long as
so just to give people an application of this. So it might be difficult to think that in whatever state you're in now that you can choose to be happy. That might seem like an insurmountable step. But if we look at it a different way, you can choose to be slightly more expansive. You can choose to kind of lean back from, and for a direct experience of this, please go to www.nonordinaryliving, and the link will be below, where I've got 2 videos. One gives you a direct experience of the feeling of relief when you shift your state of awareness. Okay, so I've been able to simulate that experience. The very next video is a 4 to 5 minute demonstration on exactly what we're talking about here, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, because it's not a secret. Because if you're going to reach 100 million people and show them how to feel good and shift their state, it has to be available to everyone. So this is available to everyone, and I go through in the demonstration exactly what I'm talking about, and it comes down to 2 things. Okay, it's direction and intensity. Any problem that you're having right now in terms of like an emotional, mental state, you can tie it back to you're moving in a certain direction with a certain intensity. And I'm going to show you in this demonstration how to shift that intensity and how to shift that direction and come back away from whatever you're going into. And that is the essence of, that's actually the energetics of mind and body. So it's understanding how energy behaves. Once you understand it, and you get that sort of sense of coming back and getting relief, then you can start to, it starts as a linear process almost, there and back, a pathway. But then you get sort of, you can start to deal with different things at once, and then that state of awareness becomes dynamic, and so you don't become stuck anymore. And you can, this is the thing with the difference between self-awareness, which is kind of like a static, you're looking at one thing at a time, the dynamic self-awareness, it becomes like a dance, and you just sort of, you're not getting stuck in any one direction. You're not getting stuck in any one intensity. You're not getting stuck in any one pattern, because you now understand the pattern and you can feel it in your body, and you can use mind and body to shift that state. And like I said, on the homepage of Non-Ordinary Living, I show you exactly how to do that. Now, on Saturday just gone, I live in just outside of Hobart in Tasmania, and we have the Salamanca market. It's one of the biggest markets in Australia, and thousands of people. I decided to go down and practice my pitch, and I have I've, like I said, I've come up with these different ways to simulate these experiences, and I was going up to strangers and showing them how to shift their state in 30 seconds. And apart from a few people that thought I was a bit of a weirdo,
can't be helped. Just like walking up to them, do you want to feel better? Do you want to feel better? Like, I'm all right, bro.
When I did it with one guy and he went, whoa, he goes, holy crap. He goes, I didn't know you could do that. He goes, are you a magician? No.
Yeah, crazy.
But I'm just letting you know it is possible. We can show you in 5 minutes what we're talking about. If you go to the site, if you just give it a go.
And part of the conversation about that, like we had, what was the last night, I believe, is that, you know, he'd mentioned that out of 20 people, 16 were receptive. Like it's great, like, to hear that, from, like, I'm talking about myself, for me to hear that, because, you know, I've embraced this well enough, and I believe it should be shared. Like, I'm the kind of person where I do give a damn about other people, and if I find something that's beneficial to me that could be applied or just, you know, put out there that could help others, I'm an advocate for that. I'm you know, as far as mental and emotional intelligence and all that other fun stuff, I'm huge about that. I've been talking about that for years. As a matter of fact, that was, you know, I've done my own little podcasting and kind of dabbles on that. But to hear that 20 out of 16 were receptive, I mean, I celebrated. As I was, you know, last night when we were talking about it, I was like, dude, hell yeah, you know, that's, you know, I'm not great at math, you know, 80% turnaround, you know what I mean, or percentage rate, that's massive. And I love it because, you know, the things that happens with us physiologically that result from, you know, what's going on mentally, and we take that for granted, or we're not aware of it. And there's some people who are just like, oh, you know what I mean? They try to discount it, but there's so many ways that it could be proven out there that can create a connection and a correlation to this whole DSA thing that could make it more real. And I want to certainly explore those things, but I mean, that's just the turnaround on that. And willingness to be open led to some really great success story there. And I think the only thing that I want to add here that I thought I'd mention before I forget, because I wrote it down a parking lot, it is, you know, as an example, or just, you know, just to put this out there, other night I've been trying to get into learning here lately certain things for creativity, right? Just a certain commitment that I have. And, you know, when it comes down to it, I had a lot of things going on. Not that I was in a bad mental state, like negative, but it was a storm going on. It was a shit storm flying around. You know, just imagine, you know, it's Cat 5, tornado going up there, and there's cows flying around in barns and just slapping walls. And, you know, I knew I wasn't in a negative state, but it was very, very disorienting and distorted. And, you know, with the whole degrees thing, you know, like, you know, shifting my body, and then also really feeling the energy, like, wow, you know where I'm feeling this? I'm feeling this right here in my core. How does it feel? It feels like, you know what I mean? Like there's a bend, a hard bend, and there's tension is right here. And then how else do you feel? Everything feels like this. Feels, like very jagged. What do I want though? What's going to work for me to complete or work with this whole learning thing? I need tension release, and also I need, instead of jagged spikes, I need swooping. You know what I mean? It's instead of it being so jagged, I need something that's going to have curves and, beautiful bezels in how I feel, because, in that state, that's when I do my best to observe and learn more. And to be able to achieve that, to go from one rickety state into another with that, with the awareness, I had to put that out there as another experience that it's real, it's tangible. It's in that I prepared myself to get into a learning state. That's the matter of importance in that.
Yeah, that speaks exactly to what we are trying to do with dynamic self-awareness and non-ordinary living, is show people that just this shift in perspective can change the way that you experience life, and this idea that we can actually use our mind-body awareness to shift our state, and we can use it to create desired states as well, just by looking at it just slightly differently. And as Jason said, what we're doing there is just simulating these desired states until we can connect with them, until they become part of our nervous system. And we'll be talking about all this. So there's this isn't just hit and hope stuff. Okay, this is all backed up by known models of how our mind and body work and how our systems work. And we're going to wrap it up here now, but there's the flip side as well, is that, and we'll talk about this in the next episode, and that's around distraction, because there's we've spoken a bit about or hinted at the kind of negative side of things and being stuck, but there's also this of being too over the top, relying on that dopamine hit to get us through the day. That's a big one. But I'd like to end on, we are on a mission to help 100 million people to feel good, okay? No matter what. And that's a big claim, but I always say, look, I'll take the Pepsi challenge any day of the week. And I know that might be showing my age, but please go to the site. If you think I'm full of shit, go to the site and try it. It's all there. I'm not holding anything back. You will feel a felt sense of relief, and then I'll show you the mechanism behind it.
Absolutely.
If you want to come on board, I've mapped the big six, so stress, anxiety, heavy mood, focus, being able to calm yourself, and motivation. I've mapped those as protocols that you can check out, but you don't need to. You can just take what I've got on the homepage, run with that, play with it, and
And one last thing before we go, I thought I'd mention is we are very, very sincere in saying the mission is helping others feel good. There's no status, there's no, whether it's financial or fame or anything like that. For me, I can say that I enjoy this experience and what I've learned and the experiences that I have. And I've always been a person that I'm very much like my mom. I'm a servant and a healer. My name's Jason, the Argonaut, and I'm an advocate for helping others and doing what I can. And this is so powerful to me that I certainly want to put that out there and letting others know, to hear, especially if we could do it live. I want to witness. I want to see others go through the acknowledgement, when they become aware of it, this is real. That's the joy. That's the magic. That's the reward. That's exactly what we're going for, because it's our contribution to helping make this world a better place and helping others.
And it is so needed right now. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we can talk about the way out until we can come back to a stable state. That's
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Hugely.
It's the macro of the micro. Like I can't figure out what direction my life needs to go in if I'm in an agitated state, because all that's going to do is create agitated outcomes.
Yeah.
If I go into a job interview in an agitated state, they're going to go, yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, and it maps worldwide as well. Like we just need to just come back and just, I
Hmm.
hate to say it, but just to chill out and just come back in, get some clarity, get some, get control of our emotions and our thoughts and our mind, not for anyone else's benefit, but first and foremost for your own benefit.
Yeah. Big
and
time.
If we can do that, then we'll just slow it down a bit,
Mhm.
and yeah, you'll feel the benefits straight away. Anyway, we
Absolutely.
are coming up to the hour, so I think we need to shush. And, call it a day/night.
10-4.
Time zone ring. But yeah, I thank everyone for
Yes,
bearing
thank
with
you.
us as we,
Yeah, thanks for watching,
get the
people.
cobwebs out, and
Mhm.
please help us share our mission,
Hmm.
share what we're trying to do.
Wishing you guys all the feel good out there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
excellent. All right, until next time. Yeah, toodaloo.
All right. Absolutely. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.